Don't bother you anymore. Fine, I won't. I used to live in an apartment building that had shops on the main level. The building next door was the same. The two buildings shared a wall. My building had assigned parking and yellow paper notes to put in our car windows. A restaurant opened up in the building next door. Their owner, manager, and staff began parking in my spot as well as our neighbors. I spoke to the owner, and she said she would talk to them again, but didn't think it would help. They were even parking in her spot. Every night, I would get home, call them and ask that the vehicle be moved. I was getting tired of this. When one night they put the manager on because they were busy and didn't have time to deal with my request, he did do it, but told me they wouldn't do it again and I was to stop calling them. I suggested they stop parking in my assigned spot. He told me he had too many staff to control where they parked, and he was sure they were not parking in my spot and it was probably a customer. You know, because customers always park behind a business and then walk around to the front to get in. The next time I worked evening shifts. I got home and this time there was a Range Rover parked in my spot. I dutifully called the tow truck and not the restaurant. I had to wait for a second tow truck because the first one was not equipped to move a vehicle of that type. Something about being jacked up and stuff. They explained it and the wait was because I didn't know enough to be able to answer their questions about the truck so they could send out the right truck first. They towed it. And I went in and went to bed. A few hours later I was awakened by a phone call from the towing company. I had towed the owner and he was telling them that it was his parking spot and that I had no right to tow him. They were going to bill me for the tow. I told the caller about my landlord's parking permits, the numerous phone calls to have them move, about being told not to bother them anymore, and that his restaurant was in the next building with a separate parking lot. We said goodbye and I never heard anything more about it. I also was able to park in my spot after. I told my neighbor and he told me just to be safe, I should tell the owner of the other building. I popped into her shop and told her. She replied with something to the effect of, "You towed the Range Rover?" I said yes. She started to laugh and basically said good for you and told me it was the restaurant owner's truck. Still makes me smile when I think of it. I once suggested to someone that it wasn't a good idea to park across two of our spaces in our private car park as the ticket guy would be here soon. To be told to "FK off you busy CNT." I let him walk off and took a picture of his car and submitted it to the company that actually issues the tickets. For I am the ticket guy. Hope he enjoyed his 80 pounds lesson in manners. Nicely done. It's a shame folks don't listen until there's an actual real cost result that hits them. When they say there's nothing they can do, Mao, if it costs them money all of a sudden there's lots they can do. Tears of joy. This is a classic case of FAAFO. The restaurant owner fed around and found out. When the tow truck came, did they play the hashtag drumbeats? https www.youtube.com/@gdogre channel about this one business who has parkers get towed and they play special music when the tow comes. Have you eaten at the place by your house? No. The owner has a blood feud with me, so I'd rather not have to deal with any bloody food. That's a good one. Did they have to bring a flatbed? That's probably more money. This is the way. Nicely done. Bet you never ate in that restaurant.
I love you.
LMAO, well played! Exclamation mark. This is a story from a long time ago. Farming for internet points, I guess.
If you enjoyed this video, Please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.